right, you're back with the Rise Exchange. The European Investment Bank Group is hosting its 2026 annual forum at a time of very difficult and rapidly changing geopolitics and economic uncertainty. Now, the three-day forum, which began earlier today in Luxembourg with policy leaders, business executives and others in attendance, was designed to discuss the position of Europe in the changing world of politics, energy, climate, technology, finance, investment, and lots more. Let's hear more from the opening address of the EIB President, Nadia Calvino.
In my view, it shows that this has been consolidated as a key event to discuss and to exchange views on current challenges and opportunities, but also that there is a need for people to get together, to speak, to share views, to try to find solutions, acting in a consensual manner, trying to build win-win partnerships. And that, I think, is the main deliverable that we have for us this week. And in previous occasions, we have exchanged a lot about these challenges, opportunities, the way forward, and there is unanimous agreement on what are the four things that Europe needs to do at this juncture. Deepen European integration, including of capital markets, large-scale investment in critical infrastructure, in strategic technologies and capabilities like the ones that have been reflected in the video, simplification to make the EU more agile, more efficient, and more win-win partnerships and global alliances to diversify our supply chains, to open new markets, also to build strong partnerships and friendships in this brave new world. Now, since our last gathering 1 year ago, momentum is building in all these areas. Minds are focused, things are moving, and the European Investment Bank Group, as the financial arm of the European Union, is playing a strategic role, a key role in delivering results with impact that businesses and people can feel and our partners can trust. To help frame the discussion of the next few days, I would like to make 3 points. First, as the reshaping of the geopolitical context enters a new phase, we feel we're entering a new phase every day, or at different points of each and every day. Europe has the capacity, the resources, the financial, diplomatic and economic muscle to lead and contribute to shaping the new global order as a beacon of stability, security and values. Europe's strength and resilience is actually one of the key takeaways of the EIB Group's annual investment report, to be presented later today by our excellent economics department. Based on a survey of 13,000 firms across the EU and the US, the report shows that European firms are weathering well the tariff shock. They continue to invest and innovate, diversifying their supply chains and trade flows, and benefiting from the world's biggest and ever-expanding network of free trade agreements. And these findings are also reflected in the performance of financial markets. European stock markets outperformed US exchanges in 2025, rewarding investors that put their trust in our economy, and they continue to perform better than the other side of the Atlantic in the current year. The economy has remained resilient despite the multiple shocks. Opinion polls show record levels of public support for the EU and for the euro. And global surveys indicate that majorities around the world see the EU as a great power on an equal footing with the US and China. Sometimes others see things clearer than we can do. Europe is a global superpower. A 19 trillion euros economy with a vast single market of nearly 500 million people, ahead of a new wave of enlargement. In nominal terms, Europe's economy is bigger than China's. In purchasing power terms, it is about as big as the US. A manufacturing and export powerhouse, home to world-class universities and research centers, as well as a vibrant ecosystem of startups. Equally important, Europe is emerging as a sanctuary for science, democracy and the rule of law, a magnet for global talent in these volatile times, and an anchor of trust for our partners. The investment report also shows that the adoption by European companies of new technologies like artificial intelligence matches what we see across the Atlantic. And the European Union is already a center of excellence in key technologies like quantum and high-performance computing, like health tech and biotech, advanced manufacturing and industrial robotics, clean tech and aerospace. I don't need to explain here in this venue and in this country how important the capacity of European companies is in this key area. And this brings me to my second point, and it is that scale and speed are essential to capitalize on these trends. I was in Brussels and Munich some days ago where I could see the impressive potential of European pioneer companies in new technologies, many of which, by the way, let me have a brief moment to highlight these, many of which have received support by the European Investment Bank Group, by the way. Like Candela from France, which builds industry-grade quantum computings, ISAR Aerospace from Germany, which is developing a new generation of rockets, boosting Europe's autonomous access to space. We have a rich gathering of such pioneers at the forum this week, and their message is loud and clear. We need to mobilize capital at scale so that ideas, technologies and companies that are born European can also grow and thrive here in Europe. And this means a large internal market without barriers or different regulations, and it also means pan-European financing instruments that can channel savings into productive investment. The European Investment Bank Group is in itself a capital market union instrument. Pan-European by design, with projects and presence in every corner of our union, in every region of our union, as we were just discussing with the Executive Vice President, and in 160 countries around the world. With a 600 billion balance sheet, a robust AAA rating, 100 billion euros in annual business last year, it will be maintained in 2026, and perfectly matching and aligned with Europe's political and policy priorities. Owned by the 27 member states of the European Union, not more, not less, and with a diversified portfolio that enables large-scale investment and at the same time high-risk innovative ventures, mobilizing private finance. The European Investment Bank Group is leveraging every euro of the European budget to mobilize 15 euros of total investment, the bulk of it from the private sector. And it also has a very successful experience in introducing financial instruments that put Europe's capital to work. Let me give you one example. Green bonds, an asset class that the European Investment Bank Group pioneered back in 2007, with a very close partnership with the Luxembourg Stock Exchange, by the way, and which has mobilized trillions of euros in investment towards sustainable projects since then, boosting the international role of the euro and deepening European bond markets. The European Investment Bank Group is also Europe's biggest venture finance trigger, with a 30% market share in European venture debt and a 25% in European venture capital last year. We're signing deals in these areas every week. TechEU, our flagship finance program to support 250 billion euros of investment into new technologies by 2027. When we announced it, it looks very far away, but it is actually round the corner. This target of 2027 is on track to achieve these results. And in less than 3 years, our instruments have already doubled the number of European mega funds investing into scale-ups and anchored the creation of 11 European unicorns, fast-growing companies with at least 1 billion euros in capital. And today I can announce that the EIB Group is going a step further. This year, we plan to extend the reach of the European Tech Champions Initiative, the biggest fund of funds of its kind in Europe, fully dedicated to supporting scale-ups. Our aim is to mobilize private institutional investors in supporting European innovators, complementing Commission initiatives like the Scale Up Europe Fund and the upcoming 28th regime for pan-European investors and companies. We are also working on an exit toolbox, scaling up venture debt, convertible instruments, acquisition finance, and tailored support to facilitate listings in European markets. We are very interested to hear your views and proposals this week as we finalize the design of these instruments to respond to market needs.